Local farmers have been long crying for help as they get little to no income from their produce. They point to massive importation and smuggling of agricultural products as two of their biggest problems. Federation of Farmers, Free Farmers, and former Agriculture Secretary Leonardo Montemayor joins us now for more on these issues. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. With supermarkets reducing sugar prices per kilo, but only in Metro Manila, and you also have Victorious Milling making available hundreds of thousands of sacks to various centers across the country. Is it safe to say now that prices have stabilized?
Well, maybe for the moment, Rico, but the question will be for how long will this emergency action last? So for as long as this effort can be sustained, then malaking tulong po yan, lalo na po sa ating consuming public.
70 pesos per kilo. What is the ideal price, sir, for a kilo of sugar?
Well, I think given the buying price of cane from our farmers earlier, I understand that 70 would be generally okay with them.
So at this point, it is just at cost at what the supermarket groups are offering to the public, which is one bag a day. So with what has happened today, supermarket tycoons, milling groups, heeding the call of the president, do you think that we still now have a shortage of sugar, Mr. Montemayor? Do we really need to import?
Yes, apparently the president himself, after this latest meeting with stakeholders, it seems, based on the reports, that they agreed that there is a need to import 150,000 metric tons. But the timing will be for it to arrive sometime in October. So mukhang kailangan pa rin ng amount to be imported, but it would be about half of the original volume of 300,000 that was covered by the latest sugar order of the Board of Sugar Regulatory Administration. But
Mr. Montemayor, it's now harvest time for the sugar producers. Isn't there enough supply to be able to bridge us from now until the end of the year? Do we really have to import? Can we not avoid any importation?
Merong contrasting Rico, opinions Kasi tama ka, the argument of some, especially from our some sugar farmers groups and also labor, is that since we are already starting to harvest and mill the sugar cane into sugar, then we might be able to weather any tightness in the supply. The question, of course, is during this period that we are avoiding importation, will the prices of sugar, especially at retail, go down? On the other hand, sabi ng iba, baka meron pang yung dangerous period, especially the month of September, na hindi pa todo ang supply ng duly milled sugar. So baka mag-persist yung tightness, and therefore the 70 pesos agreed upon price as of now might not be sustainable. So yan lang po, yan siguro ang tinitimpla, lalo na po ng ating Pangulo, such that, yun nga po, sabi nila balancing act, farmers will not be prejudiced by an undue depression of the price of their cane by any importation. At the same time, the consuming public will be protected from, higher sugar price.
But on the flip side, Mr. Montemayor, if the producers fulfill the sugar requirements, or they will harvest more than normal, then maybe the importation could be less than 150,000.
It could. Kaya lang, Rico, talagang because of the lower harvest compared to previous years, talagang may gap between the supply and the demand. So yun nga po, recognizing that gap, I think that the President himself appears to have agreed that there's a need to import. Kaya lang,
Right.
yun nga, reduced ang volume
Right.
at saka the time will be important.
So it may just be inevitable that we have to import 150,000 metric tons of sugar. Regarding profiteering, no, Mr. Montemayor, you mentioned in several articles and in interviews that we're now seeing traders profiteering from this shortage. No, they buy at 45 pesos and sell at 100 pesos. So with prices now at 70 pesos per kilo starting Monday, will this end the profiteering of traders?
Baka, well, for the moment, Rico, baka temporary lang yan. Kasi kung mananatiling tight pa rin yung supply, there is still the temptation to, di ba, to maximize your gain by charging more than what would be a reasonable price. In this case, it should be around 70 pesos per kilo, but the temptation will still be there to try to, to maximize your profit. And then
Right.
the other matter here would be smuggling.
Oh, yes.
Baka magsige pa rin ang attempts to smuggle because smugglers will see an opportunity if they
Right.
feel that there's a potential tightness in
I was about to segue to that topic, Mr. Montemayor. 1 billion pesos worth of rice and sugar now being investigated for possible smuggling. How concerned are you with these alleged smuggling issues? And how do we solve this?
Well, very concerned ako, Rico. Siyempre, any kind of illegal entry or smuggling of agricultural products, malaki ang ang impact niyan, masamang impact po, lalo na sa ating farm production sector. So,
But are these alleged developments common practice, Mr. Montemayor, in the country, or is it only because of the shortages?
in general, Rico, pagka may shortage, talagang one would expect really an increased rate of smuggling. Although, even without shortages, as long as siguro yung mga some unscrupulous people want to make more money, then they will continue smuggling. But the temptation is extra strong in cases where supply is tight.
All right. We're seeing mounting problems right now, no, Mr. Montemayor, in the agricultural sector. And Senator Risa Ontiveros is urging the president to appoint a full-time agriculture secretary so that agriculture chief could be really hands-on with all the issues of the industry. She stressed that being an agri chief is not a part-time job. Will this be a good move to appoint a full-time agri-boss now?
It might be, siguro, Rico, it might be better, in my opinion, to wait a while. Perhaps give the president until maybe the end of this year to one. Kasi on the other side kasi, there is also an advantage to the president himself acting as the Secretary of Agriculture. Because then, the needs of the department and the sector will certainly be given the highest priority. Can you imagine in a meeting with the economic managers and then the president is there also as agriculture secretary and he says agriculture needs an increase in the budget? How can the economic managers say no? If the Department of Agriculture secretary was some other person and then he sits together with his peers and discuss the budget for the department, baka mahabang debate yan, di ba? Pero kung presidente mismo magsasabi, ganito ang gusto ko, lahat susunod. So there is a big advantage also to having the president continue to sit as Secretary of Agriculture. Perhaps what was lacking in this recent episode, in the case of the Sugar Order Number 4, was kulang lang talaga ng proper coordination and communication. You know, Rico, I used to chair also the NFA Council, National Food Authority Council, which handled the debates about importing rice. Although legally, the decision to import rice lay with the NFA Council, which is the counterpart of the Sugar Regulatory Board. Because of sugar, we always made sure that we cleared any final decision first with the president with respect to importing rice. I think even with sugar, we would clear it with the Office of the President.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on The Final Word and sharing with us your insights. Federation of Free Farmers Chairman and former Agriculture Secretary Leonardo Montemayor.